Here we are in the January transfer window, and I'm just going to show you how we've done. Let's, first things first, jump into how we are currently doing. Let's go to the schedules. Up at the top you can see we're first in the Bundesliga, but how did we get there? With very nice wins. We're completely dominating the Bundesliga now, except for a draw or a loss here and there. This game, I have no idea what happened here. We just completely lost it and we lost 4-1. Then this game we tied in the 92nd minute. We got a tie. Otherwise we would have been winning it and would have been further ahead. Then we've also drawn against Hanover here and we've lost against Red Bull Leipzig, as you already saw. Then in the Champions League it didn't go as easy this season. We did lose against United away and against Arsenal away, but then we did win against Roma, Napoli and Real Madrid. So three very important wins. Then in the cup we're currently rooted against Hoffenheim and Bayern Munich are already knocked out, so the only good team that's left in there is, I think, Red Bull Leipzig, as you can see here. Yeah, Red Bull Leipzig, so we should be able to possibly win that as well. Then in Champions League we did lose 2 games, but we won also 4, so that means that we're still in 4th, which is very nice. Won 12 points, looking very good. And in the Bundesliga we're in first place, 3 points ahead of Red Bull Leipzig and 5 points ahead of FC Bayern. So as you can see, once again doing very well. I have given a couple of new contracts to, I think I've given a new one to Dopanzo. Right here, Emiliano Dopanzo, our backup striker. He's now earning 140k. He's still a backup, but he's doing very well for us. And I also want to give a new contract to Ibrahim Chukwu, who is the lowest paid player, but he wants a wage of 200k, and I'm not sure if I want to give that to him. Anyway, Liverpool probably want to get him in, so we're just gonna have to wait and see if we may end up selling him or playing him further and just giving him that contract that he wants. Then in the other areas, Scalvini is wanted by Barcelona and he really wants to join, so we might be looking for another ball-winning midfielder this transfer window. But as you know, the January transfer window for me is always based on pre-contract signings. So what I've already done here in our scouting is I have gone to scout the players and I've selected everybody who has their expiring contracts. I will load this data into the Excel and look which players I can possibly sign. Anyway, I will be back at the end of the transfer window, so probably after the game against Werder Bremen, I'll show you how we did in those last 2 Champions League games, and I will show you what kind of players we brought in on a free transfer. So we jumped into the January transfer window and now we are at the end of it. In January we played a couple of games. We started off with a 4-0 win over Freiburg, then a draw against Bayern 04, where we should have definitely won, but unfortunately it was only a draw that we could get. Then against Olympique Lyon in the Champions League we lost because I played a backup side, because the next game against Red Bull Leipzig was a lot more important. So unfortunately lost that one as well, while we were leading. At some point in the game we just couldn't really get more goals in. Then against Leipzig we did have a very barely win over Red Bull Leipzig. Then we went to the Champions League game against Ludogorets. Only won 2-0. We should have won a lot more. We had a really high XG, but we just couldn't get the goals in, so only a 2-0 victory. After that we beat Werder Bremen with 5-2 in the Bundesliga, which means that currently we are sitting in first place in the Bundesliga, 7 points clear of Red Bull Leipzig and 6 points clear of Bayern München once they play their remaining game. Then in the Champions League, because of that loss against Olympique Marseille and our bare 2-0 win over Ludogorets, we now have to play it in the playoffs, so we're probably playing one of the lower place teams, but it's just a shame because it's giving us more games to play and I didn't really like that. Anyway, that means that we have to play in the playoffs. Then we also are going to play in the DFB Pokal, and I've made 2 big signings because a big player left. So let me show you who left. Here we are at the transfers and you can see the big sale of them all. Chukwu, our Nigerian striker went to Liverpool for 160 or 46 million euros, and it could end up being 180 million. He left, he wanted more playing time, he wanted to be paid more. We paid him 20k, Liverpool's paying him 325k, so I think we're both happy. And with that money, we instantly bought 2 replacements. So we received big and we're going to spend big. Mauricio Podence is the one-on-one replacement for Chukwu, and this guy has it all. We bought him from Leipzig. I was going to buy him before already, but they made a small little loss on him. So now we've brought him in. He's playing pretty okay for now. First I wanted to get someone else in, but he got injured, so we're trying to get him in the next transfer window. And let me actually show you who that guy is. It is Casarini. You probably don't know him, but that's this guy. So he got injured, so he failed the medical, but I actually wanted to get this guy in. Now we've got Podent, which is also fine, but I'm going to try to get this guy in the next transfer window. So other than that, we also brought in another player which I'm very hyped about, which is Juan Carlos Torres from Villarreal. And look at this guy. This guy's 20 years old. He's already a starting wingback for us, and he's actually excellent in the ball winning midfield role. If we go ahead and look at his marking and tackling, great mentals, great physicals. This guy has it all. He's going to be a starting player for years to come. Only had to spend 99 million, and mark my words, that's going to be a bargain once you see what other players are going to pop up. So this January transfer window made 2 big signings: Mauricio Podence, Juan Carlos Torres, and let's see how they do. So the rest of the season we're going to have to play against a lot of big teams yet. So we're going to have to play against the quarterfinal, then we're going to have to play in the league knockouts, Champions League knockout rounds, and we're going to try to obtain another Bundesliga title. If you want to see how I made these signings and why I made these signings, go ahead and click on the link in the description. There's a video there where I explain how I make all of my signings and how I decide which player gets to play in which position. Before we jump into the last part of this episode, the youth intake, I want to ask you if you could leave a like if you're enjoying the content and subscribe if you want to see more. It really helps me out a ton, and I know a lot of people who are watching this right now aren't subscribed. So go ahead, click on that subscribe and get notified whenever I upload. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into the youth intake. It is the 13th of April 2030. And we've just gotten our 7th youth intake, and our 7th youth intake is not bad. We've gotten a top wonder kid, Cho Huangyong. Is described as fairly professional, not as a wonder kid, but this guy has it all to make it big. He only needs to train up his heading. He's already 191 centimeters, 16 tackling, 11 marking, okay physicals, okay mentals. This guy could really be something. Then we've also got a backup goalkeeper. Don't think he's going to really go anywhere, but 5 eccentricity means that he could be potentially pretty good. And then we've also gotten a fickle advanced forward, so a striker with 17 flair, 17 aggression and 17 technique already. Not really expecting a lot from him, but might turn out to be a decent player. Then let's go ahead and check how we did. We did pretty okay. We won all of our games except for against Bayern, Nuremberg and Wolfsburg. And just imagine if we won those, then we would have been 11 points clear of Bayern, and now we're only 4 points clear. However, that's not something we can do anything about anymore. We just lost them or tied them, which feels as a loss. It's a shame because Bayern here, they came back at the 96th minute. It's insane that they scored there. And Wolfsburg was just a very weird game where we couldn't even get the goal. Then this game against FC Bayern in the Champions League, we were drawn against them. We have the away game in a couple of games, which is going to be very interesting. We just need to score more than them or not let them score. So really looking forward to see what we can do. Unfortunately for me, my star striker Gabriel Silva is out injured, and I also can't use Torres, our new signing, because Torres has gotten a booking in his last game. So that's going to be very unfortunate. But we'll see how we'll do. I do hope that we can get through, and if we're going through, we probably have to play Arsenal, Paris, or Real Madrid, so it's going to be even tougher. Anyway, that's the end of this episode. The next episode, we are going to take a look at how we did in our last season at Schalke 04, and then we're going to see if we want to continue this series or make another one with the same concept. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and also hope to see you in the next one.